Welcome to another edition of Inside Northeast Racing as we bring you something a little bit different this week. You see right now, sprint cars on asphalt. The Empire Super Sprints making a trip up to the Evans Mills Speedway on Saturday night for the first ever event held at Evans Mills for the sprint cars. The first time on the asphalt for the ESS cars. So a landmark event, and here's a little idea, a little bit of tease of some of the things you'll see through the show as the sprint cars take it to the asphalt here, some super fast speeds on the asphalt surface. An event that had a lot of interest, certainly a lot of folks tuning in on Saturday night up at Evans Mills, and this will give you an idea if you weren't there. See what went on up to Evans Mills with the ESS sprint cars. A lot of interest. Sprint cars on asphalt, super fast, and a lot of folks were in high anticipation. And as my good buddy Mike said, thumbs up. Everybody enjoyed themselves. Inside Northeast Racing is sponsored by the New York State Stock Car Association, Utica-Rome Speedway, RCT Roofing, Rayome's Towing and Recovery, Northeast Racing Videos, Bobco Video, Jack's Used Race Car Parts and more, and our friends from the Dirt Track Digest. Start off our coverage from this past week's event. We go down to the Accord Speedway for the Midweek Madness event. Midweek Madness, the headliner, the slingshot event on the Wednesday night programs that are held down at Accord Speedway. See the pretty good field of slingshots on hand. Always neat to see these slingshot machines, and as well painted up and graphic they are. Get a good look at some of these cars and what will be stars of tomorrow. A lot of the current modified drivers have come out of these ranks. Neat little race cars and very hotly contested events as well. Cole Henschel in the number 3 car, and here you see some of those sharp schemes on the cars here. Here is the 3 of Henschel. Cole Henschel would be the winner of this event. Here he is coming under the checkers. Cole Henschel got the win. Tyler Johnston finished second. Wyatt Clark was third. Randy Johnston was fourth. And Trevor LaBa rounded out the top 5 at Accord last Wednesday night in the slingshots. Well, from Accord, we go to the Fonda Speedway. Fonda Speedway this past Saturday night. Here's your modified feature coming down to the green. Brian Gleason and Justin Bowler going to bring the field down to the green. And again, the rains that fell across the Northeast on Thursday and Friday made Fonda an uncharacteristically heavy surface. And you can see here as the cars make their way through the corners that bite, and you can see not the usual track surface you see at the Fonda Speedway. Usually hard, slick, and fast. It was fast, that's for sure, but a lot of bite to it. Here is Brian Gleason and Justin Bowler going side by side up on the front. Brian Gleason in that Recovery Sports Grill number 14G car. Here taking over the early lead and getting out in front. Working back through the field here, you see A.J. Romano now, as he had taken the number 1 spot. A.J. Romano starting to show a little bit of smoke. It was not an internal problem, but just a gasket, an oil leak, and A little bit of smoke there and a little hiccup down into turn number 3 is all it took for Stuart Friesen to take over the number 1 spot. So Friesen goes to the point. He is now your number 1 car as he works out in front here, coming up on the number 1 car of Darwin Green, who Green restarted with the leaders, actually got out in front of the leaders. But here, working off of turn number 4, Stuart Friesen showing the speed that he had in and gives Stuart a tacky racetrack, and that'll be something to watch. Here he is, working his way down through the corner. Stuart Friesen chalking up his 4th win of the season at Track of Champions. A.J. Romano would come home 2nd, Jeff Trombley 3rd, Matt DiLorenzo 4th, and Brian Gleason rounded out the top 5 in the modifieds on Saturday night at Fonda. We stay at the Fonda Speedway where our sponsor, RCT Roofing, presenting the Fonda Pro Stock Division. RCT Roofing will weekly present the Pro Stocks from Fonda. And here is the start of the feature event at Fonda for the Pro Stock Division. Cousin Luke down on the inside. He will set the pace. Luke Horning going to bring the field down here into turn number 1. As they work their way up off the corner, Jim Normoyle right in the mix there as they work off of turn number 2 down the back straightaway. Horning on the outside, Normoyle down on the inside. Some side-by-side racing back through the pack as well here. Great racing as they work their way down off of turn number 4 here and come down across the line. Gus Holner also in the midst of the action here as they work their way down off of turn number 2 here, the 27 of Nick Stone working his way up here. And as they work down into the corner, here's the 2 of Horning having to check up. Stone right there gets into the backside of Horning, and from there, it isn't pretty, that's for sure. Let's take a replay look at it as they come down into the corner. Here you see Horning closing up on the backside of Normoyle. He checks up. Stone, already committed to the inside, gets into the corner of Horning's car. Along comes Crazy Kenny down low, got a piece of the action, but then it was piling in from there. A number of cars involved. Dennis Joslin's car, the Fonda Pro Stock version of a cutaway car, and a lot of heavy damage, a lot of sheet metal damage. A lot of the cars would be able to compete later on. Here we go back to green. Crazy Kenny Martin would take over the number 1 position. Kenny Martin having a good season here in 2013, and right now looking like he may be on his way to victory lane. But a bobble in turn number 4 opens the inside lane, and slipping by down low is Pete Broderson to go on to the number 1 position. Broderson would take over the first spot. Jim Normoyle would take over 2nd position. Crazy Kenny trying to get back to Normoyle here as they come down through the corner. But Normoyle up on the outside, keeping the momentum up. Crazy Kenny, a little bobble down low. And Normoyle is able to keep a bumper up in front of Martin. While on the front, Pete Broderson up on the number 1 position, working his way down the backstretch. Kenny Gates joining the battle with Kenny Martin here. A couple Kennys going at it. As they come down here through turn 3 and 4, Pete Broderson would never be seriously challenged as Broderson would bring him down, and he will pick up the win. Double checkers fly. Broderson gets the victory. Jim Normoyle comes home 2nd. Crazy Kenny Martin would finish 3rd. Kenny Gates was 4th, and David Amy would round out your top 5. That is your RCT Roofing Pro Stock rundown from Fonda Speedway this past Saturday night. Well, we take a trip out to the Utica-Rome Speedway, where you saw right there a big event coming up this Sunday for the ROC Sportsmen. This past Sunday, of course, the headline division, the Mighty Modifieds. The modified cars up on the raceway here as the sun starts to set over turn number 4. Utica-Rome Modifieds making their way down here, looking for green next time around. Make their way down into turn number 3. Alan Johnson, AJ Slideways with the 88 down on the inside. Going to bring the field to green with the 18 of Jason Rude right outside of him. Green flag is out, and they're underway. Utica-Rome Modifieds, and look at him go. 4-5 wide that time up here between turns 1 and 2. Here's your lead 4 cars breaking away up on the front. As Jason Rude trying to high side here, working up off of turn number 4. Alan Johnson on the inside, Rude back there in the runner-up position, and Rude trying to take the long way around down here into turn number 1. He would eventually get by the Johnson machine. Here they come down off of turn number 4, another Johnson. This is Ronnie Johnson, the 2RJ car, the Palmer Service Center sponsored entry, and he goes by Alan Johnson. Of course, no relation, but two superstars in modified racing. Green flag on a restart here. Ronnie Johnson will take the number 1 position away from Jason Rude, as Rude now backslides to second. Super Matt Shepard has made his way up into the top 3. But Super Matt works the inside. Stewie found the outside, and he found something to the liking of the WGC number 1 car. Westmoreland Golf Club sponsored number 1, as that car had already been to victory lane earlier in the week out at the Rolling Wheels Raceway. Here, trying to keep his great week going after winning the night before at Fonda. Here goes Stuart Friesen working up on the outside of Ronnie Johnson, and he will take the number 1 position away. Once Stewie gets out front, well, you got an idea how this one finished. Here he comes down across the checkered. Stuart Friesen gets the win. Ronnie Johnson comes home second. Matt Shepard third. Willie Decker was fourth. And
Put
Pat
your hands
Ward
together.
rounded
Your
out the top
modified
5.
feature winner, Stuart Friesen. Stu, congratulations. Another modified victory. This has been a pretty good week for you.
Yeah, definitely. Man, Tom and Roxanne, this team is just really firing this week. And I got to thank my guys, Lauren and Eric, Thurston, Patrick, all the guys. Timmy, everybody's working really hard on this stuff, and it's really paying off. It's showing. The guys are busting their butts in the shop, and it's really paying off for us.
You know, before that caution in the closing laps, about 10 laps to go, the caution comes out. You're about 2 seconds behind Ronnie Johnson, and then on a restart, it looked like this car just took off.
Yeah, definitely. Really needed that caution. We get the tires cooled down. We found a good line up there on the top, just waiting for it to come in, waiting for the bottom to burn up, and caught Matt by surprise a little bit there. We were able to roll those guys on the top, and went right back up there. Tires cooled down on that restart, and it was like max grip and 1 and 2 on the outside. So racetrack's in great shape, and really just thanks to everybody for coming out, and just really proud to be a part of this team.
So that the results from the Utica-Rome Speedway. We thank the Utica-Rome Speedway for their support. Now for our weekly winners. The New York State Stock Car Association presentation of the weekly winners coming up, as a big group of winners from this past week, despite the rainouts on Friday night. NISCA, once again, congratulates all the weekly winners here from this past week. Starting off the ESS at Evans Mills, it was Kevin Ward Jr., Utica-Rome. It was Tommy Denton, Stuart Friesen, Matt Janzik, Ron Hawker. At Lebanon Valley Speedway, it was J.J. Hatch, Lloyd Tomlin, Jay Casey, and the other Jay Casey, Andy Bacchetti, Jason Harrington, and Nick McIver. At Orange County Fair Speedway, it was Billy Van Edwigen, Anthony Perego, Brian Crummell, Stephen Kammer. At the Fonda Speedway, it was Stuart Friesen, Chris Schaefer, Pete Broderson, Rob Van Arnhem, Kenny Hollenbeck, and Sean Ryba. The New York State Stock Car Association also will host their safety contingency nights coming up this coming weekend at both Glen Ridge Motorsports Park on Friday and at the Track of Champions, the Fonda Speedway, on Saturday night. Congratulations to all the weekly winners. On behalf of New York State Stock Car Association, this week our camera's going on a road trip, a little ride up north, taking a trip to the north to the Evans Mills Speedway, where we'll give you a little bit of an insight, some of the action that went on at Evans Mills this past Saturday night. Well, there's some insight from some of the things going on up at Evans Mills Speedway as a little look back at some of the things going on this past Saturday night, some of the weekly racing divisions. But this past Saturday night, the Lucas Oil Empire Super Sprints were on hand, and that was the headline event. Here we're going to take a look at the action from this past Saturday night's event. My buddy Dino down there, down on the infield, ready to watch this field go. As the field, for the first time in ESS history, as we've been telling you, as they make their salute lap, the parade lap around the raceway here, the 33 of Doug Emery making a return to racing. Emery in his 33 car behind the wheel here at Evans Mills this past Saturday evening. Of course, it was not a full point-paying event, so it was not a full field of ESS sprinters, but still a pretty good turnout for what was kind of a test and also an exhibition-type race for the ESS sprinters. Here they come down to the chagrin of the crowd as they make their way down into turn number 1. The fireworks fly in the air, and you knew there was going to be some on the raceway as well as we get ready to go green here in the ESS, the Empire Super Sprints main event. Ready to bring them down to green, green flag in the air as they make their charge down into turn number 1. Well, these drivers not exactly used to running on the asphalt. They're used to standing on it and that right rear biting into the racetrack. Here it breaks loose and we get a few of them turned around as they make their way back around here under caution pace. Ready to go back to green, and this one will work as they come down off turn number 4 into turn number 1. There's Corey Sparks with the number 7, one of the strong runners as they work their way down the back stretch. Down into turn number 3, Sparks getting a charge down low as they work their way down here into turn number 1. And Sparks, a little bit of dirt track action there, backed it into turn number 1, took his foot out of it just long enough for it to hook up and head towards the front. Here's one car on the charge here, the number 10 car. 10 working his way down through. That is Jeff Cook as they come down here through off of turn number 2. Down the back stretch, continuing to run here. Some good strong running sprint cars, and on the asphalt you really get to see how twitchy and how fast things happen here on the asphalt. You see the guys adjusting their lines on the gas and right back on the brake as they come down into the corners, and then tromp on the gas once again and do it down the straightaway. There's Matt Tanner with the number 90, the 90 car of Matt Tanner, exercising the asphalt as well as they come down here side-by-side racing back through the pack. Good strong run here as they work their way down the backstretch. When it was all said and done, the winner of the event would be Kevin Ward Jr. Kevin Ward Jr. picking up the victory as he starts to make his way down to victory lane here. Ward was your winner. Doug Emery would come across the line in second. Matt Tanner third. Corey Sparks was fourth. And Jeff Cook would round out your top 5. That is the way your top 5 finished in the first ever Asphalt Assault at the Evans Mills Speedway this past Saturday night. They'll go from the short confines of Evans Mills on the asphalt. This week, they'll head to the high banks of Lebanon. We're going to stay up to Evans Mills right now, as here is the modified division. Modified cars coming around on their pace lap. Billy Gill leading the pack. That awful familiar number 9 up on the outside, that is young Jordan McCready. Yes, Barefoot's other boy, or Timmy's little brother, either way you want to put it. But Jordan's making quite a name in the racing action here for himself. Billy Gill going to lead the way down here to the green flag. Green is out as they work their way down through here. Underway, Chris Raby back there with the 01. Down into turn number 3, there is the Casey Swamp number 44 car. Raby trying to get to him, lifting the pony wheel up in the air. Billy Gill, wired on this night. Longtime runner up in the North Country. Bill Gill, going to be the man to beat this past Saturday night up at Evans Mills. Here he is out in front. He would pick up the win. Jordan McCready was second. Lance Willix, Chris Robbie, and Murray Waltz rounded out your top 5. Here's super stock action as the Super Stocks take their green flag. Super Stock division, full fender division here. You see a couple of different body-styled automobiles. Some of the super late model style bodies, some of the more pro stock division. And we got one going around here. Hang on as they come down through the corner. But the Super Stocks, some great competition here. Side-by-side action on the asphalt of Evans Mills this past Saturday night. Super Stock action as they will wind this one down. The winner of this event was Ray Bancroft. Bancroft would pick up the victory over Dave Pope as they come down here, ready to wind this one down to checkers. Al Dockstader was third. Brianna Ramsey would finish in fourth, and Pete Wilsey would round out your top five in Super Stock action up at Evans Mills this past Saturday night. The RLC Sportsman event coming up at the Utica-Rome Speedway, as you saw the banner there under the Utica-Rome insignia. This past Sunday night, sportsman action out at the Utica-Rome Speedway as we see the field part on the front stretch here, getting ready to go for the sportsman main event. This is this past Sunday's sportsman action. Under green flag action, as they work their way down off of turn number 4, here come the sportsmen, and they fan out 3 wide down the front stretch in spots. They get down into turn number 1 and fan out even more. Here they are as they start to separate the field. Sportsman competitors underway at Utica-Rome this past Sunday evening. There's Rocky Warner as he works down to the inside here, the Flying Squirrel, marching his way towards the front. Sportsmen always showing some great side-by-side action here. Here separated by just a few inches as they make their way down here on the home stretch. There's Jack Miller's number 37, the 37 of Miller, 27 up on the outside. That's Steve Way. So Miller on the inside, Way on the outside. Miller, a longtime racing veteran here in the Mohawk Valley. Double checkers are out. Matt Janzik would go on to pick up the win. Heath Carney would finish second. Craig Pope was third. Jack Miller would garner fourth spot, and Steve Way would round out your top 5. We stay at the Utica-Rome Speedway for one more feature event. This would be the Pro Stocks, as they come down to see the white flag here on the front stretch as the sun continues to set in turn number 4. Pro Stock division making their way out onto the raceway here, ready to go for their feature event. As we get ready to go green, coming down off of turn number 4, green flag is out, and Pro Stock action underway at Utica-Rome this past Sunday night. Side-by-side action back through the pack here as they work down off of turn number 2. There's Jim Normoyle with the 7N car. Glenn Forward with the other number 7 car. As we work up on the front now off of turn number 4. Luke Horning leading the way around on the front of this one. Here's some side-by-side action, a little fender banging as they come down off of turn number 4 and get back down into turn number 1, and they fan out 3 and 4 wide again. Pete Stefanski with the number 2 car on the charge there. Here's Tommy Denton with the 94. Denton, a feature event winner here in 2013, multiple at that. And Denton fast here this evening, one of the veterans, as he works his way through traffic right now. The tow on his way towards the front. Here's later on in that event as Mark Effner works down to the inside here. Brett Belden right in front of him. The field comes down off of turn number 4. Around goes Cousin Luke up here between turns 1 and 2. That brought yellow out. When the green came back out, Tommy Denton in the number 1 position. up on the front of this one, and we told you he was a multiple feature event winner. The Toe stepping off of turn number 4, double checkers in the air, and the win goes to Tom Denton. Chris Carr would finish second. Third spot goes to Glenn Forward. Mark Effner would finish fourth, and A.J. Digsby would round out your top 5. That's in pro stock action this Sunday at Utica-Rome. We'd like to thank Utica-Rome for all of their support, as well as the New York State Stock Car Association. Utica-Rome Speedway, of course, one of our regular sponsors, our weekly sponsors, along with RCT Roofing, Jack's Used Race Car Parts, and more. Rayome's Towing and Recovery. Our friends at Dirt Track Digest. Bobco Video. And Northeast Racing Video. You've been watching Inside Northeast Racing. Inside Northeast Racing is a Northeast Racing video production, your 24/7 racing connection on the World Wide Web. Until next week, keep your eyes out at a speedway near you. Our cameras have been on the move, and they'll continue to do so. Don't forget to tune in next week. We'll see you then. Until then, this is Dan Martin saying, see ya.